in a nation where protesters are being called criminals and people are being arrested for weird things and being charged for weird things in the name of calling for a better country, it is the best time to have conversations about policy so that we don't always end up complaining about things, so that we can also be part of conversations. And we're focusing on two key issues today. One, we're focusing on the AI strategy for Nigeria. Nigeria has already announced that we're a global AI player. And if we are one, then we can't just do what we used to do. We set up a center for AI and robotics many years ago. And we can't exactly say we have done too much with that. So this time, we cannot have paper tigers. We can't have a 73-page document that just says all the right things. We have to have implementation. And so civil society must work with the private sector and with government to make sure that Nigeria is not just mouthing things about AI, but that we're using AI to improve the economy. And the second conversation we're going to have is about the digital economy bill. Beautiful thing to discuss that and to bring conversations to the table. How do we translate digital economy opportunities into the price of fuel, into the price of food in Nigeria? And that is really important, because otherwise we're deceiving ourselves and having conversations if these things are not connected. And of course, the second reason we're here today is because we have willing people from civil society and other stakeholders who are willing to have these conversations. And we're glad to have these conversations. As we say at Paradigm Initiative, the civic space in Nigeria must be appreciated for what it does, because what it does is that it keeps people who should be kept on their toes so that we can have a better nation. Don't forget, we've gone through various phases. At some point, we were ruled by colonialists. Some people had to speak up. At some point, ruled by the military. Some people had to speak up. At this point that we have a democracy, our fourth republic must work for all citizens. It cannot be a civilian dictatorship. It has to be a democracy as what it should be. And for that to happen, we must have conversations about policy making, about policies, and about implementation.
Are you worried that this AI Robotics Center is not working? By the way, how old is it? When did Nigeria set it up?
Well, it is at least as old as the former minister of communications and the digital economy. And am I worried it's not working? Of course I'm worried. I'm worried, number one, you've employed people to work there. You have a center, and I will say something that is very connected to this. Many of us saw what happened with Kano, where, well, maybe not protesters, but citizens anyway, went to a place, very young citizens, went to a place that had not been commissioned and took the computers and took the chairs and took the things. Now, while we can condemn every crime, the question is, why on earth do you take my tax and the taxes of other citizens to build centers that are moribund and not being used? And this is the court to government waste that we're calling for. The government has said sacrifice. We've removed subsidy. Cut your quota according to your material, not according to your size. But the question is the government doing the same? Instead of wasting money on building centers that will not work and buying jets you don't need, why don't you use those resources to do the things that are required in Nigeria? So yes, I am worried that we're wasting money on centers that don't work and that we're talking too much instead of doing as much as we should.